Welcome and thank you for joining me. I'm Tana Marshall, Women's Empowerment Coach, creator of the program Overcoming Nice Girl Syndrome, and founder of Infinite Woman. And I'm back with a new interview with another inspiring woman. Today, I'm talking to Elaine Starling, the Abundance Ambassador. Let me tell you about Elaine. Elaine is a sought-after TEDx speaker, international best-selling author, coach, and successful entrepreneur. Elaine's unusual spiritual awakening prompted her to help people who crave spiritual enlightenment to partner with the divine so they can achieve the financial abundance they want. Elaine leads fellow travelers on the Abundance Journey 6-week experience, sharing proven business strategies with personal development and spiritual insights that generate abundance. And I have taken that journey with you. Welcome, Elaine.
Welcome. It's so great to see you, Tina. I always love chatting with you. It's always so much fun.
Oh, ditto. I'm in a couple of weekly groups with Elaine that she leads, and she is so awesome. So I'm so happy to have you here. So I've actually been fortunate enough to be on the abundance journey with you, with your program and in general for a few years now. And I have to say that you have definitely enriched my life in so many ways. But I want to go back to where your journey began. What was your life like before New Year's Day 2005?
Well, it's interesting. I have my own small business. I was running a media planning and buying service, which is like half of an advertising agency, because there's people who develop the creative, the ads, and then there's people who actually buy space and time. And I was buying space and time for high-tech companies in the San Francisco Bay Area. And it was going really well for a long time. But after a while, I found my clients were just grinding on how much I needed to charge them. I had a number of freelancers who were working for me and they needed to be paid more. All the research I had to subscribe to was costing more. And I couldn't get any time off. I'd go on vacation and I'd still get bombarded with calls from my clients, even though I told them I wasn't going to be available for this week. It didn't matter. And I was getting really frustrated with the entire situation. And finally, actually on my birthday in early December, I told my husband, something about this just isn't working and I can't figure out how to change it, how to fix it and make it better. And frankly, there's so many things in my life that are awesome. I kind of feel guilty for wanting something different, for wanting something more. So, I'm just going to stop thrashing. I'm going to stop worrying about this stuff all the time. And I'm just going to accept the status quo. Because frankly, if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, I could die happy. So I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to live with what it is and just keep going. That was life before my stroke and my conversation with the divine.
Okay, so tell us about your New Year's Day experience. I love the timing of this, I have to say, because you asked this on your birthday, correct?
I did.
Okay, so that was December 3rd, 2004. Tell us about New Year's Day 2005.
So I'm on vacation in New Zealand with my husband, and we're actually in Queenstown, and it's a gorgeous town. It's New Year's Day, and they're primed for tourists. So we've had breakfast outside. It's their summer, it's our winter, and we're popping in and out of shops and stuff, and I start to get tunnel vision with little sparkles around the edges. And I think, oh, okay, I'm just kind of having a weird headache. And I didn't really think much of it. And then my right arm started to go numb and the right side of my face went numb. And those are classic symptoms that you're having a stroke. So my husband asked for some help and we were directed to a little medical clinic. And they took me in there and gave me half an aspirin in water and asked me to describe the photo on the wall. And I knew exactly what it was, but the words that came out of my mouth made no sense at all. And through this entire experience, I felt really great. I felt like a lazy Saturday morning when I could just roll over and go back to sleep and take it easy. I knew my husband was really upset. I knew the medical staff was a little concerned, but I was feeling fine. I was just really tired and I wanted to take a nap. And so I finally just got permission to relax. And as soon as I relaxed, I saw myself in this amazing cloud. And it was an intelligent cloud. It was a part of me and I was a part of it. And I was communicating with this cloud. I realized later that I was seeing atoms and all the molecules that make up the universe. That was the cloud that I was in. And every time I would think a question, the answer would come back into my body. Just suddenly, everything all at once, past, present, future, 360 degrees, you name it, it was all there, all at once. And I was a little freaked out by this. It was like, whoa, baby, we're not in Kansas anymore. So I was interested. I was curious. I was having fun. So I started asking more and more questions, and I felt almost like I was at this mixer, and here the divine and I are off on a corner and we're having a great time, and people are flowing by, and I know there's other entities and other beings and ancestors and all kinds of stuff, and it's kind of like, oh hey, but I'm busy with this conversation right here. So I knew there was a whole lot of other stuff going on, and I'm kind of towards the end of my questions. I'm sort of trying to come up with some other things to say, and I hear, are you sure you're done? And I'm like, no, we're halfway through our vacation. We love New Zealand. It's awesome. You should check it. Oh yeah, you probably know all about it already, but no, we're having a great time. And no, I got this message. No. You said you were done thrashing. If you're sure you're done, we can use that ectoplasm for something else. Are you sure you're done? And I said, no, time out. Because I knew that I was really close to something I was here to do. And I wasn't done yet. I wanted to come back and explore and do more and contribute what I'm truly here to contribute. And I heard, great, get back and get busy. And I came out of the stroke.
Wow. Oh my God. Okay. I love that. I love all the imagery and everything you experienced. Oh my God. So how did your life change after that?
It changed pretty dramatically for a number of reasons. We were blessed to spend a lot of quality time with my parents and my in-laws. And unfortunately, each of them had health issues. And so we were present to support them with their health issues and their transitions over the next 10 years. And I know one of the reasons why I had this incredible experience is because it was very clear to me that there is not an ending at death. Death is actually a form of graduation, because your body is a temporary entity. Your spirit is not. And you continue over many, many times. You've been physical many times in the past. You will be physical many times in the future, because this is the cutting edge of the divine. This is where you want to be, because this is where you can make the biggest difference. And it's a ton of fun, especially when you understand how it all works. Then it's really fun. Otherwise, you're kind of bumping around in the dark and it can get confusing. So, yeah.
So you finally understood how it worked. So your new connection with the divine was the inspiration behind this new path and the creation of the Abundance Journey program, correct?
Absolutely, because I kept getting downloads through the entire experience with my in-laws and my parents. And 9 years after my stroke, I woke up at 1 a.m. with a sharp finger poking me in my third eye over and over again. Get out of bed and write it down. Get out of bed and write it down. And I knew precisely what was going on here. The divine was telling me to write down everything that I'd asked and all the information that I'd received during my stroke. And I wasn't about to. I was like, that's a private conversation. Excuse me. I'm not going to share that with them. Are you kidding? Oh, no. I know it's working for me, and I know other people want to know. But hey, I saw how you treated your son. Okay. Jesus Christ. It's not exactly a secret. This is not how we win friends and influence enemies. I am not interested. Thank you. No, I am no spiritual guru, not about to go there. No how, no way. And I was like, if you've ever seen a toddler who has mastered the word no, I was all that with the pout. I was like, no. And finally, it kind of came to mind, the divine did give you a stroke just to have a conversation with you. Do you have to resist until you get a brain aneurysm this time? I was like, oh, hell. I got out of bed, grabbed a pen, grabbed a piece of paper, and started writing. And honestly, it took me about 20 minutes to get the basic ideas down of what I'd asked and what I was told. And I regularly receive downloads from the divine. I'm just kind of connected now all the time. And I've gotten pretty good at getting my own the aspect of me that is all about the limiting beliefs. I'm getting better and better about opening that and pushing that to the side and allowing the divine to flow through me because that's really when I am nourished, and when I'm nourishing others is when I'm allowing the divine to flow through me more effectively. So that's always my goal now.
Well, you brought up something really important, I think, for everyone in general, but especially in a situation like this, where the divine was literally tapping on you, going, hello, pay attention to me, because it's something that I talk about in my work with health in general. Like, if you don't pay attention to signs from your body, and it relates to the divine as well, you're going to get little things happening. And if you don't listen, bigger and bigger things will happen to you. You know, you'll stub your toe, then you'll break something. And if you don't pay attention, then a brick wall will fall on you. So you were trying to prevent the spiritual equivalent of a brick wall falling on you, which would have been a brain aneurysm or something worse. Thank God you listen. Thank God you listen. I'm sure the divine is like, finally, thank you. And those of us who've been benefiting from this with you are saying thank you as well. So you are also a popular TEDx speaker, and our group was fortunate enough to hear your speech before you even filmed it, which was so inspiring. So I want you to tell us about that, because you actually used a lot of your own tools to deal with a few blips during and after the filming. So tell us about that.
You know, it's really interesting because I saw a TEDx talk. I think it was Byron Katie. I don't remember whose talk, but I saw one early on when they first came out. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, I'm going to do that someday. I absolutely have got to do a TED Talk someday. Have to. And then I was networking an online event during COVID, met a guy who is a TED coach. And I'm like, I got to take his course. I got to figure this out. So I took the course, and he also worked with people to help them design their talk. And he's not a woo-woo guy at all. And I wasn't before my stroke. That was the other thing that was a real adjustment period for me. I was very much the fact ma'am. And then to suddenly have this experience and go, holy moly, there's a whole lot more going on here that we don't understand. Yeah, it was very interesting to have this collaboration, because also TED doesn't want anything woo-woo. So I had to find a way to articulate key messages, key points that would really make a difference for people and help them understand how they can move into a very strong mindset that brings them the kind of life they want to experience. So it was really interesting because I had to get out of my own way. I could get wrapped around the axle pretty easily about, is this going to be the right way? And no matter what you do, there is no one right way. A portion of the audience is ready to receive it. A portion of them is open to exploring it more until they do receive it. And a portion of them are determined they will never receive it because it's all bogus and they don't want it. So I had to get out of my own way and recognize that my job is to show up to the best of my ability to add value, understanding that the transformation is not my responsibility. The person in the audience is responsible for their own transformation. And I wrestled with that for years. I kept beating myself up, and I can't guarantee that they get a transformation. Yeah, if they're not willing to receive it, there's not a whole lot I can do about it. And that was a huge aha for me.
Yeah. And that's kind of like what I've learned in different courses in my coaching program. You pass the hors d'oeuvre tray. Would you like some? Would you like some? And some people be like, yeah, I want that. And some people are like, I don't know. And other people are like, no, thanks. So yeah, that's a great realization. So, but I mean, you did a fantastic job. And even though the underlying message was kind of woo-woo, you brought it down to a really practical level to make it really easy to understand. And it's not that long. And it's just, you just did such an amazing job. And it's had how many views now at this point?
Yeah, it's called Abundance is a Choice. And right now, during this interview, it has a little over 310,000 views. And my goal is 10 million worldwide. I really want to make sure people understand when you approach life kind of the knee-jerk response, which is all about safety and protecting myself, then you tend to have a poverty mindset and things do not go the way you want them to. And when you are really clear about your intention, how you want to feel, what you want to create, how you hope others will feel through your creating this, and your attention, what you put your focus on. Those are the two things you control. And when you're really clear about those two things, that's when you have an abundance mindset and everything opens up for you. It's really cool how it all comes together.
Yeah, and you are so great at explaining it, which you do in your program. I want to ask you about your program. I also want to ask you about let's talk about the program real quick. So, because you have so much going on, you've created so much. So you created the abundance program and there are 5 steps. And I know that this is your free gift that you have.
Okay.
All of these links are going to be below. So yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I have a couple of different programs. I have the Activate Abundance program, and I also have a brand new book out that covers the Activate Abundance program. It's called 5 Steps to Activate Your Abundance. And so both of those are designed to help you understand simple steps you can take that focus your attention so that you can get what you want in your life. So that's really key. And I encourage people to listen to or watch my podcast and video show called The Abundance Journey, because at the end of every single episode, I do the segment called Activate Abundance, and I use the 5 steps and I point out exactly what I'm doing for each one of those 5 steps. And as I do this, I'm modeling it for you so that you are immediately absorbing that energy and you're not actually doing anything. It's the beauty of mirror neurons that are right between your eyebrows inside your brain. You pick up on what I'm feeling and what I'm doing and saying. So even though you aren't personally doing it yourself, you're absorbing the energy, you're absorbing the experience, and you're seeing it modeled so that hopefully in the future, you'll do it yourself all the time. Because honestly, these 5 steps, Activate Abundance, it changes everything. So that's definitely the primer. That's like the entry level experience that can really make a difference for you.
Yes, and I read the book in one sitting, which is really unusual. I have a hard time tearing myself away from everything I need to do and sitting down to, I know you read what, 5, 6 books a week. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 5 or 6 books a day. I know you do a lot of reading, and I was like, I have to read this book. And once I sat down, I couldn't put it down. And it's so well, because your story is so engaging and you go into much more detail about things in the book, but it's still not a long book, but it's so engaging and so interesting and so educational. And you want to, like, what's next? Well, I want to learn more. I want to read more. So I got through it, and the steps are so easy and you explain them so well. And one of the things that I love that you did, or that you pointed out at some point, is that the 5 steps to activate abundance correspond with the 5 love languages. So tell us about that.
That was really interesting because that was just like a week before I started to write the book. And it was really channeled. It was really just pulled together. It's amazing how everything happens at exactly the right time. It's always divine timing. So I was sitting for guidance. I often do in the mornings. And I got this download that the 5 steps correspond with the 5 love languages. And I was like, really? Oh, how does that work? And that's usually what happens is I have this dialogue with the divine. I'm like, so what would that look like if that was what was going on here? So the 5 steps, it starts with gratitude. And gratitude is really, really important because it connects you with the experience you're having and with the people that you're talking to. So gratitude is always a great place to start. It's honestly the acorn to the oak that you're trying to create. And the love language that corresponds with gratitude is quality time. Because quality time only happens when you are grateful for being in someone's presence and you make an effort to spend time with them. So when you articulate your gratitude to someone, you're spending quality time with them. And they can feel that. It really resonates. So step 1 is gratitude. Step 2 is acknowledge something that's an aha for you, a light bulb moment. You see it as significant in some way. And that is the love language of a surprise, a little tidbit, because you never know what somebody's going to go, whoa, wait a second, that was awesome. I love that. And here's what I just heard. And that's why it's a surprise, because it's beautiful. And it's you being you and adding value just by being you. So you don't have to stress over having some perfect little bon mouche for them to try. No, you're just doing your thing, and they're going, oh, wait a minute, that was awesome. Okay. So the second part is acknowledge something that's important to you, and that is the love language of surprise. The third step is to appreciate the difference it can make in your life. Now, appreciate corresponds with the love language of words of affirmation. That's where you actually articulate, whoa, not only is that awesome, here's why it's so awesome for me, because it means this. And I'm blown away. I never thought about it like that before. I never considered it like that before. And through them articulating that to you, you also get that transformation and that experience, because maybe you didn't think about it that way before either. They just saw something in it that you hadn't noticed, right? So it's a collaborative experience, which is really cool, an exchange of love. How awesome. So step 4 is to activate abundance. And there are 2 different ways that you can activate abundance. You can either pull out your calendar, if it's something that you can put on the calendar and schedule time to do it. That's great. That's one way. Another way is to create some kind of an anchor. Like maybe you want to remember to be grateful before you have a conversation. So you cross your fingers, or you make the okay sign, or you do something that reminds you to show up in a state of gratitude. How cool is that? So those are the 2 different ways that you can activate abundance. And I was like, okay, so which language is that? And I realized that corresponds with the love language of doing something for them, of actually taking some action to make their life better. Why? Because when you are activating abundance, you're activating your mirror neurons. And just because they aren't doing it doesn't matter. They're seeing you do it, and they're seeing you making a commitment. You're saying, wow, I'm so grateful that I'm spending time with you. I just heard something amazing. Here's why it's so incredibly amazing. And here's how I'm going to implement it in my life because it's so freaking amazing. Right? So you're really anchoring it in for the person that you're chatting with. And then step 5 is to celebrate your progress. Progress always comes in baby steps. It's not overnight success. It's tiny little activities that you're doing, and you need to acknowledge and appreciate and celebrate those actions. So celebrating your progress is really, really vital. And I realized that corresponds with physical touch, the language, the body language that we share, especially now post-COVID. Many of our activities are virtual, like our conversation today. If we were here face to face, I'd give you a big hug, I'd do a high five. I mean, there's lots of things that we can do. Virtually, you can smile. You can say, thank you. This was really valuable to me. There are lots of different little things you can do that indicate how you want to celebrate this experience. In fact, my absolute favorite thing to do when I first connect with somebody and we're just starting our conversation, I always like to say, what can I help you celebrate today?
That's good. That's really good. And I have to say, you are the best example of someone living this and demonstrating it and living it every day in everything that you do. I mean, every time I interact with you, you are living your message. But I think that's so brilliant. Thank you for pointing all of those out and laying out the steps and seeing how they correspond with the love languages, because I thought that was just such an amazing thing that they coincide.
Well,
so
it blew me away too. And that's part of the reason, because I was actually asking the divine, why is the activate abundance process so incredibly powerful and so incredibly effective? And the message I got back was because it's all 5 love languages in one. And so what you're doing when you activate abundance is you're creating this love bubble for yourself and for the people that you're talking to. It just surrounds them with love, so they feel valued and appreciated and heard and seen and understood and valued. I mean, it shifts everything, because when you are coming from this space of activating abundance, it's not about you anymore. It's through you. So you can get your limiting beliefs out of the way, and you can identify the things that you really resonate with. And as you articulate that, you're adding incredible value to the other people who hadn't maybe thought about it that way before. And all of a sudden, they're leaning in. You're magnetic. You're so appealing and so compelling. They want more. So this is one of the fastest ways for you to create really powerfully effective relationships by activating abundance.
Which is what you have done. And I love that it's all about love, and that encompasses everything about it, because it always comes back to that for me, because one of my favorite affirmations, I love and approve of myself. And so it's great to have all of these steps that really come back to love, self-love, sending love, allowing the divine to flow through each one of us as love. And I love that you talk about it making you magnetic, because you're a great example of that too. People are always I'm drawn to you. Everybody that I know that is a mutual connection is drawn to you. So where can people get the book?
Okay, well, I'm going to invite you to visit my website, theabundancejourney.com. And I'm sure it will be theabundancejourney.com/book. But go ahead and visit theabundancejourney.com and you'll be able to find the book. And I can't wait to have you get a chance to read it and explore it, because this is your birthright. You were born for abundance. You were born for love. And you just weren't given the rule book. It's really hard to play the game when you think you're playing Twister and the universe thinks you're playing bridge. It's like, huh? Right? And so the universe is looking at you and going, well, I think it's Queen of Hearts, but I'm not really sure. And it's no wonder you don't get what you want when you're not on the same page, right? So reading this book, it's short deliberately because I want it to be a fast, easy, fun read. And I want it to be very conversational. I want you to hear me in your head, loving on you and sharing these ideas with you, because you got this. And we need you to show up as your full, beautiful, divine self.
Well, you did it. You did it in the book, Mission Accomplished. And I encourage everybody to go to her website, get the book, because it is so awesome. So I wanted to ask you, what is one thing that people can do right now, today, after watching this interview, to begin activating abundance in their lives?
I'm going to tell you to watch the TED Talk, honestly, because it's so simple. I break it down, I make it really easy, and I provide a lot of different comparisons and stories that bring it to life. It's called Abundance is a Choice. Yes, I have to remember the title. Abundance is a Choice. And if you watch that, it will really get you moving in the right direction. Don't overthink this. It's not hard, okay? In fact, it's really easy to understand. The hard part is when you start putting it in action, because you'll find things start to you bump into things as you're moving through this process. And in the book, I talk to you about some of the gotchas that tend to come up and what you can do, how to recognize them and move through them with grace and ease.
Yeah. So don't think, just watch the video. And the link will be below. All of Elaine's links are going to be below. So let me ask you one other question. What is the most important message through this whole journey that you have received from the divine?
I think the most profound message that I received from the divine is that love is the blood of the divine.
I love this quote.
Love is the blood of the divine, and you are the beating heart of the divine. You are here to push and pull love through the divine, to nourish, replenish, and expand the divine. This is literally the cutting edge of the divine. That's why you wanted to be here, because this is where all the cool stuff happens. And yes, there are challenges. Absolutely. Your life is deliberately designed with challenging situations because it gets you to come from your higher self. It gets you to lean in with love. It gets you to expand love. And that's the whole point of the game. Everything is love, and you are circulating love. So it really helps to understand that you're actually in partnership with the divine. It's not like the divine is up here on high and you're this lowly little ant. No. It's more like you're running a three-legged race with the divine and your two legs are strapped together. But you mistakenly think that you have to understand everything. You have to be in charge of everything. You have to control everything. And so you're busy dragging the divine behind you as you try to run this little three-legged race. And the divine's just laughing, going, oh, come on, sweetie. Seriously? This could be a whole lot easier if you just let us partner up and play with you. Do you really have to do it all by yourself? I don't think so. And so when you're willing to relax a bit and set your intention, again, how you want to feel, what you want to create, and use the 5 steps to activate abundance to focus your attention, that's when you're open wide to receive divine guidance. And all it takes is a few little baby steps to get in action. The divine cannot steer a parked car. So as you're taking these little baby steps, you start to get insights, you start to get information, and you start to move in the direction you want to go so much faster than you could ever have imagined. It's not all on you. The divine has really big plans for you. And you can't get there if you just sit on the couch watching TV. You got to be willing to take action and move towards your dreams. You can do this. You got help, a lot of help.
Yeah, that's a great reminder, because I think a lot of us, we just power through stuff like, oh, I got to get it done. Oh, it's so hard. Why isn't it happening? And when we relax and realize that we do have that help and that support available, then it gives it the space to come in and support us. So thank you for the reminder of that. I mean, everything that you have done is so incredibly valuable. So I know you have a free gift for people.
I do.
So 5 steps for online abundance.
Yes,
We'll
indeed.
find that.
Absolutely. I'll make sure that you have the link. And it's really cool because there are 5 different things that you can do. It doesn't even matter if you don't have a list. There's 5 things you can do for anybody you find online that will make a difference in their lives. And when you do that, they feel it. And I'm going to have you up the ante just a tiny bit. Do these 5 things, but then add on top of that the 5 steps to activate abundance. And you will freaking blow them away, because people do not get that kind of love bubble action very often. They really don't. And when you're showing up that way, don't worry, they won't think that you're like this crazy stalker or something. You won't come across badly, right? Because you'll have to pick some specific things that happened that were the aha for you and why it made such a difference in your life, right? So you're pointing out something specific, which turns into a really valuable endorsement for them. So they're going to be super happy to hear from you. So check out these 5 things that you can do online to create online abundance. You're going to love it.
Awesome. And thank you in advance on behalf of everybody for that free gift. So where can people, I know you've already mentioned it, but where can people learn more about you and join the abundance journey?
Yeah, well, you can find me online at my website. And you can also find me on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, primarily. I am also on Instagram. So I'll make sure that you have all those links so that people can hook up with me. And I love connecting with people. I love finding out about where you are in your life. And this is going to sound bad, but I mean it well. I love challenges. I like really juicy problems because they're actually the biggest blessings you could ever experience. And so for me, it's really cool when I meet somebody who is thrashing the way I was, right? They're struggling with an issue and they don't know how to get out of this box and they're determined to find a way out. Well, that's when I love collaborating with people, because I see that they already have all the answers they need. They're just not putting things in the right order, in the right sequence. They're not activating abundance. And by using that process, believe it or not, it opens you up and everything starts to make sense and everything starts to flow. And you're so much closer than you realize. So much closer.
We're going to have your website right here, and all the other links are going to be below. So you can find everything about Elaine, because she's all over the place, and go connect with her everywhere on your favorite platform. But definitely watch the interview. I mean, not the interview. Well, watch this interview. Glad you're here. But watch the TED Talk, because it is a great place to start. And it's so full of great information in just a few minutes. So all the links will be below. Go check them all out. And Elaine, I can't thank you enough for being here and sharing your inspiring story and your beautiful, radiant energy with us. You're doing so much to increase abundance in the world. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me, Tana. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. And thank all of you for joining me today. I'll be back with more inspiring interviews with amazing women. So remember to subscribe here on YouTube. And if you'd like to join the community and get free resources for support for your self-care, jump over to my website, tanamarshall.com. and sign up to be notified about upcoming events and programs. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.